This is my grandma's garage door, and if you listen carefully, you can hear that it's very squeaky and noisy. So let me show you how to lubricate your garage door so it's less noisy and most importantly, you can keep it running great. The first thing I like to do is just grab a broom or a towel and knock down any of the easy debris like your spider webs or any dust that might be on the surface. Usually our garages are a little dusty and dirty, so it's just a good idea to do this before we start spraying any lubricant down. That way it just doesn't make a bigger mess. What's great about this job is you don't need a ton of products to get it done. All you need is a lubricant and a stepladder. Now, when it comes to picking the lubricant though, there are a few things I like to mention that you need to keep in mind. Now, your first thought might be, I'm just gonna go grab some WD-40, it's gonna work great. Now, WD-40 is a great product. Unfortunately though, it's a solvent and not a lubricant. So if you use it in this application, it's going to actually clean all the grease out of all the hinges and where the metal touches, and it will work for a little while, but unfortunately, your garage is gonna start squeaking and it's gonna sound way worse than even when you started. Instead, I suggest using something called white lithium grease. In fact, WD-40 also makes a version of this. And the reason you wanna use this instead of just a normal WD-40 is this is designed for metal on metal contact and it's gonna lubricate that. And the other really nice thing is it's long lasting. Now I will say, if you go to your local big box store, you're gonna find a bunch of different products on the shelf. And there's some that are even designed for your garage door. Personally, you can use either this one or the white lithium grease here. There's also another brand that makes them. It's really up to you. I just personally prefer the white lithium because I know it's better in the elements and it's just a little bit more long lasting. But if you can't find this, this will work too. The areas you want to focus on are the rollers, hinges, torsion spring, and the garage door opener rail. It's also a good idea to lubricate the bearing plates along with the cables as well. But stick with me here, I'll show you exactly where those are. When it comes to spraying the rollers, you wanna make sure to get the lubricant inside there between the roller and the sleeve that it sits in. It's gonna be a little tricky, so you wanna make sure to spray both ends. And also, sometimes you'll have like a little port or a slit that you can spray lubricant in as well. Make sure to really cover this. I also like to use just a towel to kind of hold against the roller. That way I'm not spraying lubricant all over myself and the garage floor. Now, when you're spraying down the rollers here, you might be tempted to also spray the wheels inside the track, but I highly suggest that you do not do this. The reason being is your garage door, when it's opening, could slip because those wheels are all lubed up, and that could cause damage to the door. Now, the other thing is if you spray a bunch of lube in there as well, essentially over time, it's just gonna dry sticky and attract a bunch of dirt, which could also affect your door opening. It is okay though to spray the bearing inside the wheel if you have those. Again, just make sure that you're not getting it all over the outside of the wheel and the track. Speaking of the track, this is also an area we don't wanna spray any lubricant down at all. Now, if you've done this in the past, trying to fix all those squeaks, that's okay. All you need to do is just grab an old towel, just give it a quick wipe out. That way, again, it's not gonna build up in there and cause any issues, and you should be good to go. Now for the hinges, these are pretty similar to the rollers. We just wanna make sure to work as much of the lube on the inside there as possible, so you can spray the ends, and if you do have a little port, again, spray that in there and just work it in, kind of roll it back and forth as well. That way you make sure you're working the lubrication inside. When it comes to lubricating the garage, I do suggest to work in sections. It's always a good idea to work on one side to the other. That way you don't forget anything. Now, another thing to look out for on the hinges is sometimes the bolts can be a little bit loose and this could also create a sound. So just grab a tool and get those a quick tighten if you notice any. I do like to recommend that you do this job once a year. Usually in the springtime is a good time to do it, just when you're cleaning out your garage. But I will say, if you notice any squeaks or your garage door is getting really noisy again, that usually is a good indicator to know that you need to lubricate a few areas. Now, when it comes to the torsion spring here, this is something that you're gonna wanna apply a lot of lubrication on. So you know me, I don't like to make a big mess. So something I like to do is just grab a piece of cardboard here. We're gonna put it behind the torsion spring. That way when we're spraying, we're not getting it all over the wall. If you leave lubrication behind, like I mentioned with the rails, it's just gonna dry sticky and attract dirt. So we don't wanna make a big mess here. It's also a good idea, again, to have your towel ready. And we're just gonna spray down the torsion spring here from left to right. I usually like to start at the top and just spray a ton down there. That way it can go down into the spring. You just don't wanna make a mess, so keep that in mind. Now this might drip a little bit, so again, be mindful of that, but it's a good idea to just let the lube sit there before we wipe everything off. That way, again, it can work itself into all of the grooves here. For the garage door opener rail, the main areas we're gonna focus on here is the top of the rail and then just a little bit on the bottom here because that's where the opener runs across. Now, if you do have a belt-driven unit, do not spray any of this on there because it can damage it and break it down over time, and we don't want that. It's also a good idea while you're up here to spray where the arm attaches to the rail here, just in these few openings. That way we can get some lube in there too. Now, a sneaky area that can give you a few squeaks is actually where the arm attaches to the door here. If you notice, there's a pin right here, and this kind of moves back and forth a bit. So it's a good idea just to spray a little lube in there as well. That way we don't have any issues. Now there's two areas that sometimes get forgotten when doing this job. Now the first is the bearing plates on the outside of the top of the garage here. You'll have one on the left and the right. It's at the end of where your torsion rods are there. Just give those a quick spray. And the other is actually the bottom of the cable. So all garages have a cable that runs all the way down to the bottom there and it's connected to the garage so it can pull it up. And where you have that connection down there, sometimes because it's just introduced to the elements there because it's the lowest part of the garage. I know in Wisconsin with snow and water and things, that can get a little wet. So if you lubricate this, it will help prevent that from rusting. And also because it's two metal points again, that has a lot of friction there. So if it's well lubricated, it won't fray and break and keep your garage door working great. Now, a quick pro tip with this job, probably do it towards the morning or towards the evening, or maybe not on the hottest day of the year like I chose to do, because it can get a little sweaty. Now with this job, if you do notice some areas where again, metal on metal is touching and kind of rubbing, that could potentially cause an issue, it's usually okay to lubricate them. Again, as long as you're not lubricating the wheels or the tracks, you should be good to go. Now, once you have everything nice and lubed and sprayed, it's a good idea to open your garage 2 or 3 times. Again, open it, open it, and close it. This is gonna do a few things for you. First, you're gonna be able to tell pretty much right away if you have any more squeaks, but it's also gonna work the grease into maybe some of those areas you couldn't quite spray it in there, but as long as you sprayed enough on those surfaces there, it will find its way to where it needs it. Once everything's to the point where you no longer have any squeaks, first of all, give yourself a big high five, you did it. But the other thing to always look out for is just to check all the hinges and the rollers, pretty much everywhere that you sprayed a lubricant on for anything like drips or maybe excess grease that kind of is sitting there. Usually at this point, you can wipe that away as long as you don't have any squeaks anymore. This is just a good idea to do because we don't want it to drip on your floor or even on your car. And there you have it. Now your garage door should be nice and quiet and squeak free. Thanks so much for watching as always, and if you're new here, please consider subscribing because we are so close to that 1 million mark. I also need to give a huge shout out and thank you to the Clean Squad members over on our Patreon. Now, if you want to join us over there and get access to things like PDF cleaning guides or even your name credited down below, check the link in the description, and as always, I'll see ya on the next clean.